What is up, guys? It is just one day after UFC 318, and I was pretty impressed with this card. It ended up being a pretty good card. I enjoyed it, so I'm gonna break it down, give you my entire reactions and analysis on how the fights went and how we did on our bets. I'm gonna kind of run through the prelims really fast and take a little bit more time on the main card as the fights go up in importance. Starting off first, we have Judice versus Cagliari, and Judice just came out, got a finish like we all expected. Nasty knees to the body, just really pieced her up, got an early finish, and started off the prelims in a very good, entertaining WMMA fight for once. We have Ferreira versus McVeigh, and just as I predicted, McVeigh, this was just a bad matchmaking. Poor McVeigh got fed to the wolves in his debut. Ferreira completely finished him, early finish, and just as we expected, this was just mismatched matchmaking. Up Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. Ryan Spann gets an early finish, so this card starts off 3-0 with 3 finishes, and all of our picks have been right so far. So yeah, we started off very hot. Moving forward, Jimmy Crute brought some pace and finished them with the armbar submission in round 1, and just Jimmy the Brute Crute with a good performance, fun to watch, and we keep rolling. We're 4-0. For my second lock of the night, we had Islam Dulatov versus Fugit. I told you guys to bet on Islam. This was going to be free money, and Islam completely pieced him up. He looked really good. He looked patient. His striking looked more patient than we had seen him in the Contender Series. And, he just got an early finish, TKO, and Islam looked really good. We had Gauthier versus Valentin, and guys, I told you this is my third lock of the night. So 3 locks I had on prelims. I told you guys to parlay these, and all 3 of them won by finish. Gauthier won by a KO finish, made it look so easy. Got an early first round finish. So yeah, Gauthier with a finish. He looks like a very good prospect, just as I expected him and Islam to look. Had Prado versus Verotanikov, and guys, I told you guys this was my underdog pick of the card. Go with Verotanikov, and he did get it done. Both fighters showed terrible fight IQ. Verotanikov kept trying to go to like the spinning kick, and just it looked bad every time he attempted it. He got taken down, and same thing with Prado. He got him on the ground and they would give up like easy positions. So both these guys showed negative fight IQ. They're probably 2 of the worst in the division, but we got our pick right. Our underdog bet of night hit. Forward, Vettori versus Allen, guys. Allen came out and really pieced him up. He got in a flow state at once. This fight ended up winning fight of the night, which I don't think it should have won fight of the night at all. But, it was a good performance by Allen, and he entered flow state. Vettori had some moments. He definitely had some moments, but some people were saying that this decision was like close or maybe a robbery. I completely disagree with that. I think it was a clear decision for Allen. Last fight on the main card, we had Oliveira versus Phillips, and guys, I told you this was my favorite bet of the night. Oliveira money line, because he was only like minus 150, and he came out and just completely dominated Phillips. From the first bell, Phillips actually had some moments and had Oliveira stunned a little bit, and had me sweating for a second. But then Oliveira he went in a flow state. He literally was fighting with his hands down at his side the entire time, head hunting, trying to finish Phillips. He just looked way more powerful. Just honestly, just mauled him. Just had insane pressure, and Oliveira got this one done. So yeah, we finished the prelims 9-0, a really hot start to the prelims. So I was super proud of that, especially considering the fact that I told you guys to make that 3-leg parlay with my locks and to take Oliveira money line. So those were the 2 bets that I placed on the prelims. So you should be up some money if you listen to me on that. Moving on to the main card. After a super exciting prelims, the main card probably didn't live up to the hype that the prelims set, but by all means, it was not a bad main card at all. We had a lot of underdog wins, and that's where my picks kind of fell off. But I told you guys in a lot of these fights not to take Dan Ige because that fight was 50-50. Don't take Kevin Holland because he's so inconsistent. So, I told you guys not to take those bets. I told you guys the only main card bet I'm really taking is Holloway moneyline and Kopylov moneyline. Moving into it, the first fight was Zellhuber versus Michael Johnson, and I thought Zellhuber was going to be way more active. He won the 3rd round, and he looked very good in the 3rd round, but Michael Johnson he was answering every single time. He looked so quick. It looked like vintage Michael Johnson. He was too quick for Zellhuber to keep up with, and every time he was swinging, it looked like he wasn't there. And finally, when Zellhuber found his rhythm, it was just too late. It wasn't until the 3rd round. So Michael Johnson, with a very good performance, ended up winning 29-28 against Zellhuber, which everybody thought was going to be a very good prospect. So good win for Michael Johnson. We move on to Dan Ige versus Pitbull. I told you guys I'm probably not going to bet on this one. I think this was the most 50-50 fight on the card coming into it. And Dan Ige just... He didn't throw enough. He wasn't active enough. And Pitbull just really countered everything. I think Pitbull was kind of a puzzle piece for Dan Ige to try to figure out that he never really could figure out. Pitbull's takedowns really probably won him the fight. He had 2 very big takedowns So it was overall a pretty good fight. People were booing for the first start of the fight. It kind of started off slow, but by the third round, they were definitely throwing in it, and it turned out to be a pretty good fight. We had Holland versus Rodriguez, and this was probably the craziest fight on the card. It started off D-Rod completely piecing up Holland in round 1, and then continued to piece him up in round 2. And I was like, Holland tried to get like a Darce choke at the end of round 2, but it wasn't in deep. And it was looking like 2-0 for D-Rod, and he was probably going to go out and win the third round again. But in the third round, D-Rod looked completely gassed out of nowhere. Holland landed a nasty uppercut, had D-Rod against the fence, just Holland was wailing on him, and I thought he was going to get the finish. There was about 2 minutes left. D-Rod clearly didn't know where he was, and then it looked like Holland just stopped caring. Like he just completely tired out and just stopped caring about winning, which is why I told you guys I'm probably not going to bet on Holland because he does stuff like this. And, he got tired and kind of just was like, all right, fuck it, I give up. I mean, and he did. He laid on D-Rod. They laid on each other the rest of the fight, and he lost the decision. Now, a lot of people in my Discord was saying that this was a robbery. They thought Kevin Holland won round 1, but I don't think it was a robbery. At first, I might have, but then I started thinking about it, and I was like, nah, D-Rod won round 1. He had the bigger moments. So I think it was a pretty good decision, even though I did know some people were saying this was a robbery. If you guys want to be in the Discord, though, I have the link down in the bio. It's a free Discord where we just all talk MMA every single day. Moving on to the co-main, we had Kopylov versus Costa, and this fight did not go as expected. This is the fight that I was just completely off on. All the other fights I did pretty good. I knew Ige Pitbull would be, even the ones I got wrong, like the Holland and Ige, I knew they'd kind of be 50-50. I knew Holland was super inconsistent, and he might not even act like he wants to win, and I predicted the prelims flawlessly. But this is the one fight where I would just kind of miss the mark on. Costa's last performances, he did not show really any output. He showed very low output, and I think that was really just because of how Sean Strickland's defense was. So I expected him to have a relatively low output coming into this Kopylov fight, and it was a complete opposite. Kopylov had super low output. Costa's kicks were just beating him up to the body, beating him up to the legs, to where Kopylov was genuinely scared to throw. And every time he would throw, he found success, but his output just wasn't there. He just wasn't throwing near enough. So Costa got this one done in a pretty dominant fashion. Costa looked really good. I think Kopylov maybe won round 3, but outside of that, Kopylov kind of just dominated for rounds 1 and 2, and I wasn't expecting to see that type of output from Costa. Then he goes on and call out Chimaev, saying that Chimaev was in his wife's DMs and all type of stuff. So we'll see. If Chimaev loses, I could definitely, against DDP, I could definitely see them doing like a Paulo Costa Chimaev. And for the main event, this fight should have easily won fight of the night. I don't know what the hell they were thinking giving it to Vettori and Allen. This was a great fight. Fight of the year contender, banger fight, high output by both sides, big shot landed by both sides. They each dropped each other. I mean, it was just a great fight. There were moments where Dustin looked like he was about to put Max out. Moments Max looked like he was about to put Dustin out. It was pretty back and forth. I did have Max win 49-46 though. 2 judges had him 49-46 as well. And a lot of the media scorecards either had it 50-45 or 49-46, but one judge ended up giving it a 48-47, which only one other media scorecard I saw said that. So I thought that was kind of crazy. I thought it was probably closer to a 50-45 than a 48-47. But overall, I would have scored it 49-46 for Max Holloway. Good performance by Max. He did good work to the body. I think the body's what won him that fight. Dustin was kind of scared to rush in at times because Max was doing these. First of all, he had the spinning back kicks to one side of the rib, and then he had the kicks to the other side of the rib, and he was just hurting Dustin's body. And Max looked really good. He was moving. His footwork looked good. He was active. This looked like a completely different Max than we saw from Max versus Poirier too. And Max looks good. I don't think he's too far away from a Topuria title shot because, I mean, let's be honest, Patty doesn't really deserve it off a Michael Chandler win. A win over Poirier is way better than a Michael Chandler win. So Patty doesn't deserve it. Gaethje doesn't deserve it coming off a Fiziev win. A win over Poirier is way better than a Fiziev win. So, I mean, and you would say Armin's the most deserving, but the UFC already said they need to see something else out of Armin before they give him the shot. So I think those 4 guys need to be match-made. How I would probably match-make the division, I would probably go Armin and Gaethje. I think Gaethje would be the easiest fight out of those 4. So I think Armin deserves the easiest fight because he was the number 1 contender. So I think I'd go Armin, Gaethje, and then I think I'd match up Holloway and Patty. I'd be super, super hyped to see how that fight played out, Holloway and Patty. I think Holloway would probably win just based on sheer volume. I think it'd be a similar fight to how the Patty-Poirier fight went. But, yeah, I would love to see that. And then the winner of the Armin Gaethje gets gets Ilya, because obviously I don't think Gaethje deserves it right now coming off a Fiziev win, but if Gaethje beats Arman, he definitely deserves it. And then, yeah, the next title shot would be the Holloway Patty. So that's probably how I would match make it. Lightweight's kind of hard to match make right now, though, guys. Thank you for tuning in. It was a very good event, underrated card. A lot of people were saying they hated it before, but it actually ended up being very good and very entertaining. We ended up profitable. I told you guys all the my underdog pick of the night, which hit, my 3 locks, which hit, and my 2 favorite bets that were Max Holloway moneyline and Oliveira moneyline, which all hit. So we were profitable in the night. We finished with a 71% hit rate. So yeah, make sure you guys follow for more, and I'll be breaking down every event like this.